Welcome back to the channel. Real quick, I saw this morning that Conor McGregor has been found liable for assault in the sexual kind. I gotta say it that way, otherwise sometimes the YouTube algorithm will proceed to not promote the video. So so he got found liable, which is different than guilty. So it is guilty in the sense that the civil case has now gotten to its verdict, which found him liable for her essay. And I'm not gonna reveal her name because you can do that on your own. You can go ahead and look at that, look for that story. Now I hadn't followed it too close, but I knew that it was going on, and he was actually charged with this, with other crimes in connection to this assault charge. And he's now had a monetary imposement against him for being found liable. But first, thank you for being here if you're new and clicking on the video, and if you're a current subscriber, thank you for actually supporting us on a constant basis. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Again, so the imposement of fines has been $258,000 US dollars, which is about 240,000 pounds, which is kind of crazy because if you think about the monetary value of, like, what is that worth to someone, right? Being assaulted in that way, which is a mental and physical abuse, you cannot get over that. That's forever with you, right? So to give that a monetary amount, that's kind of like it's kind of crazy to itself. And then to actually and to also be in the public limelight, right? Because you're going against this mega star, right? Whether or not you think he's relevant anymore is irrelevant now. But also think about the downfall of Conor McGregor being on top of the world for such a long time, being undefeated for such a long time, being a draw for such a long time, having a mega crossover fight, which he made more money than ever in his career, against Floyd Mayweather, and then the descent. The ascent was crazy. The descent was equally as amazing and as outstanding, of a fall I've ever seen for any athlete in any respect, right? And he hasn't fought in 3 years, and I doubt now that his career would ever resume in the UFC or anywhere respectable, right? And no fighter should give him a shot. And if anybody's gonna say, well, this is common for women to do this to athletes, well, the athletes have to make better choices then, right? And we can't always say that everyone that ever comes forward and says something that this happened to them by an athlete is automatically lying, because then we're just like ignoring the fact that that he probably uses influence, and that's probably what they found, right? So they found, maybe the evidence wasn't strong enough to prove that it was maybe forcible. I can't say, I haven't looked into the facts that well, but they found enough there to say that he was liable for it. So there was enough evidence there to say you probably used your influence to put her in a predicament where she felt like she had no other choice but to proceed with the advancements. And that's a wrong situation. Like, that's like, why would that, out of all things you can use your influence for, right? You could probably have any woman you want at that point in time, or at least a very large selection of women, and then you use your influence to kind of force somebody into a situation they don't want to be in. And a lot of women just feel trapped in that situation, right? Because maybe they don't want to be ousted from a position that they're in, or like if that's their career, or they just feel intimidated, and if they don't do what is being told them or asked of them, even if it was being asked nicely, it could be implied that if it doesn't go well, right? So maybe those were all things that they considered. Now I know that there was also she was forced to move at one point from her home because her boyfriend got stabbed in front of her home, and they were kind of assuming that it was due to the situation with Conor McGregor. Whether or not he sent them or not, the judge did not allow it in this case, apparently because it was, had nothing to do with the kids that they were trying, so it was not allowed in court. So a lot of people don't know that happened. Again, it's just as a fight game persona, right? Whether it's boxing or MMA, it's wild. Like, think about, it's almost, is comparable to what Mike Tyson went through early in his career, with his essay trial, and found guilty of it. But Mike was able to pick up the pieces. Whether we believe there was enough evidence there, or at least enough speculation there to say maybe Mike wasn't tried fairly, or something to that effect. But he was able to pick his pieces back together of his career, continue when he came out, and to this day he's still revered by people. Whereas I don't think Conor McGregor is gonna have that luxury. I think it's pretty much over for Conor. He's not the most likable person in the world at all. He's made himself out to be the villain, the anti-hero almost, or villain. And a lot of people don't like that. You know, if you don't like, he was like UFC's version of Floyd Mayweather in a lot of ways. And a lot of people just did not, they tuned in to watch him lose rather than to watch him win. And I think now that's the case. I don't think any fighter should give him, whether in MMA or in boxing, any other paydays. I think it should be over for him at this point in time. I mean, that's just my opinion. Again, Conor McGregor found liable for the crime committed against this young lady, and I hope the athletes start protecting themselves better. If that's the case, if that's what needs to be, make better decisions with their influence and their money. It makes no goddamn sense to be going through this as powerful and as rich as that man is, and would have been even more so. And this is how he chooses to spend his time and money and his power. It's kind of sad, really, but his descent was crazy. I mean, he was at one point, you couldn't turn around without, speaking his name when it came to fighting in the UFC and MMA. He was the king of the world for a long time, and then it just all came crashing, loss after loss, court cases, probably some weird plastic surgery, because he doesn't even look the same. But that's just me. I have no proof of that at all, but that man's face changed wild. But anyway, let me know down in the comments down below. Do fighters and athletes need to protect themselves better? Is this a case where you believe, that Conor is liable, or maybe even guilty of the SA? Or do you think he was wrong? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video, and I'm out. Peace.